What's up, guys? My name's Lewis, and I'm from And Now Just Listen, here with the news you knew already for the week of July 18, 2016. We got some Battlefront news, we got some gambling news, and we got some Evo news and some other esports stuff, as well as releases. So let's go ahead and just get right into it. Up first, Star Wars Celebration Europe was this weekend, and EA took the opportunity to announce some details about Star Wars Battlefront's upcoming DLC program. There's 2 DLCs left on the season pass. The first was already announced, and it's the Death Star DLC. We finally got some details about that coming out of this weekend. First up, Chewbacca and Bossk will be the 2 new heroes featured in the expansion, which is pretty cool. Chewbacca should be an exciting addition, and who knows, Bossk could be cool, but it's really interesting to watch them pick villains because they're picking some pretty obscure, lesser-known characters. After the first 3, they picked Greedo, who's well-known but not in the movies very much, and Dengar, who is not in the movies very much and not very well-known amongst the more casual or less... Amongst people who aren't crazy about Star Wars, I feel like nobody knows who Dengar is, so that's pretty cool, but... There's also the big news for me personally is that space dogfighting will finally be in the game. There's going to be a map or maps, I'm not sure exactly, both inside and outside the Death Star. I don't know if there's going to be multiple maps of each or just one of each, but that's really exciting. That's always one of my favorite parts of Star Wars is the space dogfighting, and the screenshots, which you can see in the link in the description below to the blog post at EA, look really cool, and I'm very excited for that. In addition, the other big announcement is that the 4th unannounced DLC, which will be coming out holiday this year, is going to be a Rogue One tie-in called Rogue One Scarif. There's not a whole lot of other details about what's going to be in that, but that's really cool. And I think that will be a really neat tie-in to the movie, both releasing at the end of this year. Star Wars Battlefront's Season Pass is starting to look a little bit more appealing now. It's still really pricey, but I think Bespin's going to have a free weekend coming up, and if that seems fun, after the Jabba Palace DLC was pretty cool on a free weekend, then I might go ahead and spring for it because the Death Star sounds neat and the Rogue One tie-in sounds really neat as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing that's all about, and you can get your hands on that stuff. Death Star will be out in the fall, and Rogue One will be out or more closer to holidays. So keep your eyes out for more Star Wars Battlefront content coming soon. Up next, CSGO gambling's been in the news around the internet a lot lately for non-positive reasons, and it's caused Valve and Twitch as well to respond. Valve has responded saying that these outside clients that are accessing their API and having you log in and all this stuff is actually against their terms of service, and as such, they have started sending notices to these websites to knock it off. So it'll be interesting to see if that kind of kills the skin gambling scene or what, but that's going to be happening or is already happening, and we'll have to see how that plays out. But Twitch has also sort of said that you can't show it on stream. What they've said is that anything that breaks terms of service of anything you're showing or streaming cannot be on stream. So if the gambling is breaking the Steam terms of service, I'm assuming that that means that you're not supposed to be showing CSGO gambling on stream. That'll be interesting to see what that does to the CSGO streaming community, because skin nonsense is huge over there, and we'll have to see if that puts a damper on CSGO's Twitch numbers. I don't think it'll be a huge effect, but it could be an effect. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that going forward. Hopefully, we're getting close to all this CSGO skin gambling being water under the bridge. It's been a huge mess, and I think it's detracting from some really exciting stuff going on in the professional scene of the game. And hopefully we can just move forward and play and watch some great games to finish out the year. Last but not least, there was a lot of esports this weekend. We're going to start off with the Summit 5, the big Dota tournament leading up to TI, where Wings Gaming took it over OG. OG has been dominating lately, and it's good to see that there's going to be some real competition with them heading into TI. Team Liquid's been pretty close, and some others have seemed close, but nobody's been able to really topple them at a big tournament recently. So it's exciting to see the field open up a little bit heading into TI. And that tournament should be really fun to watch too, as EG and Secret have had to come through open qualifiers just to get in. It's going to be really good stuff, and the prize pool is up to like $17 million right now, and we've still got a couple weeks, so it should be huge money on the line once again at TI this fall. Next up, the iBuyPower Invitational took place this weekend and featured a couple big CSGO teams and some smaller teams, some up-and-coming teams, I think almost all from North America, but it ended up with Team Solo Mid and Cloud9 in the finals. Cloud9's been floundering a bit lately and has never really recovered from the loss of Sean Garris and Freakazoid, and TSM looked really solid heading into the final, but Cloud9 ended up taking it in 2 maps, and that'll be interesting to see how that affects their form heading into E-League in the coming weeks. Last but not least, it was EVO this weekend, and the 2 big finales on Sunday were Smash Bros. Melee and Street Fighter V. Liquid Hungrybox took the Smash Bros. Trophy, and once again, Razor's Infiltration won in Street Fighter V, and it looks like Infiltration is the player to beat this year in Street Fighter. He's been dominant every time he shows up to play, and it doesn't seem like people have a long-term answer for him. So we'll have to see how that goes. I think he's a favorite heading into the Pro Tour Finals in December already, and we still got half a year left, but we'll see if people can pick it up and give him some competition. That's going to do it for the news, and we're going to bump it over to a few releases for this week. Alright, there's nothing huge coming this week, but there's a few games coming to new platforms, which is kind of exciting. Ark is amongst those, which has been out on PC. It's a dinosaur survival open world DayZ-like thing, and that's coming out on PS4 on July 19th, and Killstrain's coming to PS4 on July the 19th as well. Another game coming to PS4 new is Neverwinter, which has been out on the Xbox One. That's coming out also on July the 19th. There's a few other things over here as well. Peruse the list at your leisure, but nothing real big coming this week, and July continues to be a pretty slow month overall. Thanks again for tuning in this week. We really appreciate it. If you liked the video, give us a like, give us a sub. It would help us out a lot. If you want to catch our podcast, it's out on Wednesdays most of the time. Thursdays we record on Wednesdays. But that's and now just listen on iTunes, Spreaker, or Stitcher, or any podcatcher, whatever should pick it up, no problem. You can catch our blog content over at andnowjustlisten.wordpress.com, and go ahead and give us a follow on Twitter at ANJL Tweets. We'd really appreciate it, and we'd love to interact with anyone who's watching the videos. Thanks so much again, and we'll see you next week for more news.